We don't know exactly in which village or town WOZZECK plays. It might happen in any town, any village, actually. What we know from the very first bar of Alban Berg's opera is that we are in the world of the military. And he gives us this illusion by basically the use of one instrument, which is the snare drum. The snare drum underlines the two chords played in the strings with a roll. A snare drum roll sounds like, if you had been to the circus, you know what I'm talking about. And the two chords sound like this. Now imagine underneath this drum roll, which I'm trying to mimic for you, you get that. With two chords and a drum roll, this world is opened for our ears. The first character that we encounter in this piece is the captain, the Hauptmann. And the Hauptmann is a very sarcastic, grotesque, slightly capricious and buffo type of personality. And he gets a theme that reflects his personality, and that sounds a bit like that. WOZZECK, however, in his brooding mind and state of mind, is very, very monotonous. He has no means of expressing himself exultantly and so on. The captain does. He sings on one single note. Jawohl, Herr Hauptmann. That's it. It couldn't be more mechanical. It couldn't be more dull. And Berg is so sensitive to all those kind of psychological, emotional shades behind the words that he finds means in his melodic invention that reflect that so incredibly well, so drastically well, I should say, that it goes far beyond anything that we might associate with natural inflection of language. I mentioned before, WOZZECK starts on one note, and this note becomes more important. It's becoming sort of his personal note to which he, it's kind of his personal anchor in a way. It's this D flat or C sharp, and to that C sharp, he sings this Wir arme Leute, which suddenly has this incredible range of expression. Wir arme Leute, sehen Sie, Herr Hauptmann, etc. The thema here is called the thema of poverty and of compassion. So here you have those kind of two important aspects of the piece in this music. Wir arme Leute, which is kind of a minor third, seventh chord. And I guess, and I hope, that our natural initial reaction to a chord of that kind is some form of sadness. E minor brings a shadow with it, and with this note added to it, there's bitterness, there is pain to it, which makes me feel for this poor guy who expresses that he cannot live the life of a great man. In Act 3, between scenes 4 and 5, a Verwandlungsmusik, meaning a change of scene, happens. To that change of scene, Berg composes an incredible orchestral interlude. And this interlude, in a certain way, summarizes the entire piece. Now, after establishing this key of D minor and having a theme running in the lower strings that goes like this, etc., etc. Berg brings back a number of motifs that we heard before in the opera. We hear the captain's music, the captain's theme from the very beginning, which goes. We hear also the main theme of what we want to call WOZZECK's aria, which starts with those words, "Wir arme Leut," us poor people. All those motifs put together, combined, culminating after that in sort of a final climax. Again, back to this key that I mentioned earlier of D minor, clearly established through what we call in musical terms a dominant tonic situation, which is kind of that, except Berg does this. Greatly expressive music that encapsulates the entire piece, explains, so to speak, in a nutshell, what WOZZECK ultimately is about and what the composer himself wanted to convey to the audience, which is his plea for humanity.